Hello again, folks. Welcome back to my kitchen, my living room, my dining room here. This is a section 9.6 and 9.7 review. Okay, so just as a reminder, the homework is going to be this worksheet. Okay, now I just want to explain a little bit. I did give you this worksheet already, so you should have it. If you don't have it, you could either print this off, print each of these files off, and do them on that, or if you'd like to, you can just open them up and do them on a separate sheet of paper. Make sure you box and circle and put your name on your final answers and submit it that way. Okay, I don't care how you do it, but you don't have to do all of them. Take a look here, section 9.6 worksheet. Just going to open this up real quick. For this one, you only need to do number 4. Okay, this number 4 here, and then the middle column. What does that mean? The middle column. That means 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21. You don't need to do 23, okay? For the section 9.7 worksheet, you only need to do 6 to 12 even. So you don't even need to worry about this whole top part. That part you can cross out. 6 to 12 even, so 6, 8, 10, 12, and then 15 to 17. Okay, so just this 15, 16, 17, you don't have to worry about the word problems. If you do the word problems, that might be good because who knows, they might turn up as a bonus on the quiz. Just saying. But you don't have to do any of the word problems. Okay, so again, pay attention to the ones that you have to do for section 9.6 and 9.7. Okay, so you don't have guided notes for any of this, what we're going to do here today. Let me get this to go away. You don't have guided notes. So what I'd like you to do is just get out a separate sheet of paper and do this along with me. You don't have to submit this. I just want you to do this so you can practice it along with me. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is, this is what we would do in a normal everyday lesson. We would do this warm up. So I'd like you to pause here and complete these 4 problems, and then I'm going to go over it. So I'll give you a moment to pause. Okay, so hopefully we've done these 4 problems. I'm just going to go over these 4 problems. Basically, if you could do these 4 problems, you're pretty well off on the quiz, okay? So the first thing that I've got to do here, I'm going to put this up here. I've got negative 3x squared, 8x, and minus 3. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that 3x squared over to the right side. I'm going to add it and put it in front. So that's going to give me 0 is equal to a 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. Now, a lot of you are not factoring correctly. I noticed on that homework assignment with that A, B, and C, the A, B, and C were not very good. So make sure you're factoring correctly. When there's a number out front, things change a little bit. Remember, you multiply first and last. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9, and then you find the factors of negative 9 that add to get to positive 8, which in this case are negative 1 times 9. Now remember what you do here. You don't just say x minus 1 and x plus 9. That's not what you do. You split apart the 8. First term stays the same, 3x squared minus 1x plus 9x. That's where your 2 new factors come in. And then minus 3. Now at this point, we factor by grouping. We pull out a 3x, leaving an x minus 1. We pull out, I'm sorry, no, we don't pull out a 3x. What am I thinking? We pull out an x, leaving a 3x minus 1. Let me get that. You know what? I'm just going to redo the front of that. Again, we pull out an x, leaving a 3x minus 1. We pull out a 3. There's the 3, pulling a 3x minus 1 out again. Okay, so that means we get an x plus 3 as our leftovers, and then a 3x minus 1. This is all still equals 0, right? And don't forget, whenever I say solve, that means you're going to set each part equal to 0. So you're going to say x plus 3 equals 0, and 3x minus 1 equals 0. So we subtract the 3 on both sides. We get x equals negative 3. We add the 1 to get 3x is equal to 1. And then we divide by 3. So x is equal to 1/3. That's my answer here. And that's my answer here. Okay, 2 answers. Remember, 2 answers. All right, so the next part here, this is more from section 9.7. Remember, when you square root it, you get x is equal. So don't forget, we have to square root it. That's, I guess, the first step of this. You've got to square root both sides. Don't forget, you get x equals plus or minus. You've got to have that plus or minus there. 7. How do we know that it's 7? You just take the square root of 49. So in this calculator, I got to take 49, then hit the square root button, and we get 7. In your red calculators, you're going to take square root button and then 49. Okay. All right, so we've got here 16x squared plus 10 is equal to 131. How do I know I can solve by using square roots here? There's no b term. What do I mean by that? There's no just x term. All I see is an x squared and numbers, no x's. So I subtract the 10 to both sides. Okay, we get 16x squared is equal to 121. 121, that's a perfect square. That's already sounding alarms in my head. So it's 16, so I divide by 16 over to the other side. I get x squared is equal to 121 over 16. And when I go to square root that, I get x is equal to, don't forget the plus or minus, I square root the top and the bottom. That gives me square root of 121 is 11. Square root of 16 is 4. So plus or minus 11 fourths. If you got plus or minus, what would that be? 2 3/4 or 2.75. I'm just going to make sure on that. 11 divided by 4. Yeah, 2.75, that would have been fine as well. I divide by 3 here. I divide by 3 here for this last one. I get x squared is equal to 27. And then I square root and I get plus or minus whatever the square root of 27 is. And I say 27. Oops. Please. Well, we've got 3 calculators up apparently. I take 27. I find the square root of that. And it's 5.19 or 5.20 if I wanted to round to the nearest hundredth like it tells me to. Right, I would go here, 5 above, give it a shove. Well, that makes that a 0, so 5.20. Oops, I forgot my plus or minus. Plus or minus 5.20. Okay, so those are my answers for that warm-up. Hopefully you guys did fine on that. Okay, we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing here. I want everybody to complete these problems. There's not 16 of them. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. Okay. So I want you to pause right now. This is a review from page 661. You don't even have to worry about going to that page. It's just a review. So I want you to go ahead and pause right now, and I want you to do these problems. Okay. Give me some moments to pause. Play whenever you're ready. Okay. So I got them spaced out here. All right, so this is basically your quiz in a nutshell, okay? If you could do these problems, you'll be fine for your quiz. Hold on a second, I hear my daughter stomping around up there. I think she's coming out of the room. I'm gonna pause this recording really quick. Pause. Okay, sorry, we're back. She's on this card making kick, and she has to show me every time she makes a new card, she has to show me. Okay. All right, so we've got, so again, like I was saying, this is your quiz in a nutshell. You've got just sections 9.6 and 9.7, so solving by factoring and then solving by square roots, okay? Okay. All right, so there'll be a couple questions that just say the zero product property. Well, all that means, you don't have to a lot of people always try to make this too hard and multiply them together or something. Guys, it's already pre-factored for you. Just set them equal to 0. You say x plus 1 equals 0. You say x plus 3 equals 0. And then you solve both of these little equations. Subtract the 1, x equals negative 1. Subtract the 3, x equals negative 3. Same thing here. X minus 6 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. See, it's already factored for us. I add the 6 to both sides. I get x equals 6. I add the 3 to both sides. I get x equals 3. Hopefully those weren't too bad. Let's take a look at these 4. So I've got to solve by factoring here, okay? So when I factor this, this is an easy type. This is an easy type. This is an easy type. This, also an easy type. I'll show you what I mean in a second. They're all easy types. All right, so let's take a look here. I've got x squared minus 4x minus 32. So in this case, since it's an easy type, and now it's an easy type because there's no number out front, right? This is just a plain old x squared sitting out front. So what I do here is I take the factors of negative 32 that I had to get to negative 4, and those are, what would those be? Negative 8 and 4, is that right? Negative 8 times 4. Yeah, 8 negative times 4. Is that 32? Yes, it is. And negative 8 plus 4 is 32. Or, sorry, is negative 4. Right? And that's what we were looking for. All right, so now that we got that handled, x minus 8 and an x plus 4 equals 0. We set both of them equal to 0. We add the 8 over to the other side. We get x equals 8. We subtract the 4 over to the other side. We get x equals -4. Two solutions there. Okay, take a look at this one. Again, already an easy type factoring. Factors of 15 that add to get to -8. Ooh, positive 15 going to a negative. They both got to be negative. -3 times -5. That means we've got an x minus 3 and an x minus 5. Set the x minus 3 equal to 0. Set the x minus 5 equal to 0. Add the 3. Add the 5. All right, now this one is not in standard form yet. Right? It's not in standard form, so I got to bring this 6 over to the left side. X squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Factors of -6 that add to get to positive 1. -2 times 3. So we got x minus 2, x plus 3 equals 0. We set the x minus 2 equals 0. We set the x plus 3 equals 0. We add the 2. We subtract the 3. Those are my solutions. Okay. Lastly here, I'm going to add this x squared over to this side, just like we did in that first problem. Okay. In the warm-up. So we say x squared minus 8x minus 33 equals 0. Okay, now factors of -33. Oh, that's -11 times 3, right? -11 times 3. That gets us an x minus 11, x plus 3. That means we get x minus 11 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. We add the 11. I don't know, I'm showing that now. X equals 11. Subtract the 3. Those are my two solutions. Make sure you get both of them on the answer blank for all of these problems. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the next section here. You know, we got the number 13. Okay. The word problem here. Again, the word problems. You know, you don't have to focus on them too hard, but just know that it may show up as a bonus. All right, so we've got the height of a soccer ball. So here's my soccer ball. It's a big soccer ball. Kicked from ground level can be approximated by this function. -16t squared plus 64t now is equal to the height. Okay, the height. Now, find the time it takes for the ball to return to the ground. What height is the ball when it's on the ground? The height is 0. I want to know when this function equals 0. Okay, well, I can factor this, can't I? That's got a GCF. The GCF is a negative. Why? Because it's a -1 coming out, right? 64 divided by 16, that works, right? If I take 64, divide it by 16, I get 4. So this turns into t minus 4. Why minus? Because we factored out a negative, right? So, well, this doesn't have any solution. Oops, sorry. There's a t out there. Right? Didn't they have a t in common as well? Oops. So we got a -16t equals 0 and a t minus 4 equals 0. We divide by the -16 to both sides. We get t is equal to 0. We add the 4. T is equal to 4. So what is this saying? This is saying that at time 0, it's on the ground, which makes sense. Like, look at our origin point there. At time 0, it's on the ground, right there. At time 4, it's on the ground. Boom, right there. So how long is the ball in the air? 4 seconds. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going with the last couple. Last 3. Solve using square roots. Okay, again, I can solve by using square roots because there's no b term for each one of these, right? There's no just x term. So just got to isolate the square root and then take the square root of the opposite side. So I divide by 3 first. Over here, we get x squared. Remember, x squared has to be alone when we take the square root. So 48 divided by 3 is 16. And then I take the square root of 16, which we know is 4. So it's plus or minus 4. Remember, 2 answers there. Don't forget about the plus or minus. +4, -4. We add the 49 here. We get 36x squared is equal to +49. We divide it by 36. Now, why am I not making this as a decimal? Because I recognize 49 and 36 as perfect squares. Because what's going to happen here is when I divide, or when I take the square root, I get x is equal to plus or minus The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 36 is 6. Plus or minus 7/6. If you had 1 1/1/6, or 1, whatever that decimal is, 1 1/6, that would have been fine as well. 1 point, I don't know what that is. 1.2, I don't know. What's 1/6? 1.16 repeating, or 1.17. That would have been fine as well. All right, so I add the 21 to both sides. Get x squared alone. Oops, 21. I get 9 is equal to x squared. And then I square root both sides, plus or minus 3. Okay. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think so. All right. I hope everybody's having a good day. I just wanted to give a little heads up about the quiz that's going to be for Friday. Let me jump back there. I have it. I wonder if I can just hit next. Yeah. Okay. It's all set up here for you, and I'm going to publish it at 8 in the morning on Friday. But let me just go over the directions with you. Please take this quiz sometime today. You're going to have until 11:59 at night to do it. Okay. Here comes my daughter again. You're going to have 11:59 on Friday night to do it. You can either print the file or work directly on that paper, or you can separate sheet a notebook paper and do it that way. Make sure you put all answers on that paper. Make sure I see everything nice and clear. Please, please, please take a good picture. I'm going to need to grade it for correctness. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So again, jumping back in here. You can either print the file or work on a separate sheet of notebook paper. It doesn't matter. Make sure you have a good scan. Some of you guys, please don't just hold up the paper to your webcam. That does not work. You need to get a good like phone picture of this. Do whatever you need to do, but make sure it's into me by Friday night at midnight. Okay. You must work alone. No notes, no additional help, no technology, no phones. You can use your calculator, but that's it. Just like a normal quiz if you were sitting in class. And this is very important. You must have your parent, guardian, whoever sign off that you did it without cheating. Okay. It's on the last page of that document. Okay. All right. Well, I hope everybody's having a good day. Hopefully everybody's staying happy and healthy. See ya.